You're lying in bed when you notice the refrigerator has stopped humming. That's not unusual. Refrigerators cycle off all the time, but you could swear it stopped exactly when you pulled the blanket up to your chest. You hold still for a moment, then you pull the blanket a little higher, just to test it. Nothing happens. The fridge stays silent. You exhale and close your eyes. 7 seconds later, it clicks back on. You know this because you were counting. You don't know why you were counting. You just were. And now you're lying in the dark in your bedroom, listening to the low electrical hum of your refrigerator through the wall, wondering why you started counting in the first place. It's a Tuesday. You're in your house. Everything is where it should be. The hallway light is off. The bathroom door is halfway open the way you always leave it. Your phone is charging on the nightstand, screen down. You can see the faint green glow of the power strip near the floor. Everything is ordinary. Everything is fine. You close your eyes again. The house does what houses do at night. It settles. There's a soft tick from somewhere in the walls. Could be the ducting. Could be the wood frame adjusting to the temperature drop outside. There's a faint whistle of wind against the window you've heard 1,000 times before. Your ceiling fan is off, but the pull chain sways sometimes when the heater kicks in. You know all of this. You've lived here long enough to know every sound this house makes. That's why the next thing bothers you. There's a click, small, precise, like a fingernail against a wooden surface. It comes from somewhere near the hallway, not the walls settling. You know what that sounds like. This is more deliberate, sharper, and it happens once clearly, and then doesn't happen again. You open your eyes and stare at the ceiling. You wait. 30 seconds. A minute. Nothing. You roll onto your side, facing the bedroom door. It's open about 8 inches, the way you left it. The hallway beyond is dark, not completely dark. There's a thin band of light from the bathroom nightlight, the amber one you keep plugged in near the sink. It casts a faint warm line across the hallway floor. You can see the edge of the hallway carpet. Everything is still. You blink a few times and settle your head deeper into the pillow. The refrigerator hums on. A car passes outside, its headlights briefly sweeping across the far wall of your bedroom. Then darkness again. Then silence, except for the hum. You're almost asleep when the click happens again. Same sound, same sharp, deliberate quality. But this time, it comes from a slightly different place. Not the hallway, closer. Maybe the door frame of your bedroom. Maybe just inside the room, near the dresser. You can't be sure. Sound does strange things at night. Walls reflect it. Air carries it in ways that don't always make sense. But your eyes are open now, and you're listening with your whole body. The room is still. The air smells the same, faintly like laundry detergent and the wood polish you used on the nightstand last week. Your breathing is the loudest thing in the room. You hold your breath to eliminate even that. The house is silent. Not quiet. Silent. The refrigerator has stopped again. You didn't notice when it stopped. It was running. You're sure of that. And now it's not. And in that silence, your house feels larger than it should. The walls feel farther away. The ceiling feels higher. You know this is just what silence does to a room at night. It distorts your sense of space. You know this. You breathe again, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Slow. The refrigerator clicks back on. You glance at your phone. You don't pick it up. You just look at the outline of it on the nightstand. You could check the time. You could look at a screen and flood your eyes with light and make the room feel small and normal again. But you don't. You just look at the shape of the phone and listen to the refrigerator and wait for something you can't name. 2 minutes pass, maybe 3. You're not counting this time. Then you hear something different. It's not the click. It's more like a shift, a soft displacement of air near the bedroom door, as if something moved through the gap. Not fast, slow, gentle, like a pressure change, like someone opened a window in another room and the air in the house adjusted. But you know, all the windows are closed. You checked before bed. You always check. The bathroom nightlight flickers, just once, just barely. The amber line on the hallway floor trembles and then steadies. Nightlights do that sometimes, especially the LED ones. There's nothing unusual about it. But you watched it happen in real time, and for a half second, the hallway was completely dark. And in that half second, you felt something you can't explain. Not fear, not exactly, more like recognition, like some deep old part of your brain saw something in that flicker of darkness and understood it, even though your conscious mind didn't register anything at all. You sit up slightly, propping yourself on one elbow. The hallway is still. The nightlight is steady now. You can see the bathroom door halfway open, the towel hanging on the hook behind it, the edge of the mirror, catching just the faintest reflection of amber light. Everything is exactly where it should be. You lie back down. You stare at the ceiling and think about patterns. You think about how the refrigerator stopped twice, how the click happened twice, how the nightlight flickered once. You wonder if there's a pattern there, 2, 2, 1. Or maybe you're just tired. Maybe you're doing what people do when they can't sleep, finding connections where there aren't any, seeing order in randomness because your brain can't accept that some things just happen. You close your eyes. The house breathes around you. The heater is running. You can feel it. Not hear it, feel it. A faint vibration in the floor, conducted up through the bed frame and into the mattress. The air from the vent in the corner of your room moves across the ceiling and curls down the far wall. You know this because you once held a candle up to map the airflow when you were trying to figure out why that corner always felt cold. The air moves in a loop, ceiling, far wall, floor, back to the vent, a cycle, a pattern. You almost smile at that. Patterns again. The heater shuts off, not abruptly. It winds down the way it always does, the fan spinning slower, the vibration in the floor fading, then the click of the relay, then stillness. You know this sequence. You've heard it hundreds of times. Warm air will linger for a few minutes, and then the room will slowly begin to cool, and then the thermostat will kick the heater on again, and the cycle will repeat. But tonight, the room cools faster than it should. Not dramatically, just enough for you to notice. The air against your face, the part above the blanket, feels different, crisper, as if the temperature dropped 3 or 4 degrees in under a minute, which shouldn't be possible with the windows closed and the insulation in the walls. You pull the blanket up, not because you're cold, because something about the temperature change feels intentional, and covering yourself is the only response your body knows. You lie there, blanket up to your chin, eyes open, staring at the dark ceiling. The click comes again. Third time. But this time it's different. This time there are two of them, in quick succession. Click, click. Like two fingernails. Like something tapping twice instead of once. And it's closer now. Definitely in the room. Definitely on the side where the dresser is. You turn your head slowly toward the dresser. It's a dark shape against the wall. You can see the outline of the mirror above it and the vague shapes of things on its surface. A bottle of lotion, a small bowl where you keep your keys, a framed photo you can't quite make out in the dark. Everything looks the same, but the click came from there. You're sure of it. You stare at the dresser for a long time. Your eyes adjust in increments. The shapes become slightly clearer. The lotion bottle, the bowl, the frame, the small stack of books on the left side that you've been meaning to move. The books. You keep 3 books on the dresser. You've kept them there for months. They're stacked with the largest on the bottom and the smallest on top. You can see them now. A dark little tower against the wall. Except the order is wrong. The smallest book is on the bottom. You blink, you stare. You try to remember if you moved them. You didn't. You haven't touched those books in weeks. You're almost certain. But maybe you're wrong. Maybe you picked one up and put it back in a different order without thinking. People do that. You do that with things all the time. But you're looking at those books and something in your chest feels tight. You don't get up. You don't turn on the light. You just stare at the books and try to convince yourself that you moved them and forgot. This is the rational thing. This is what a reasonable person would conclude. You moved the books. You forgot. End of story. The refrigerator stops again. This time you notice it immediately because you've been unconsciously tracking it. It's been running for, you're not sure how long, several minutes. And now it's stopped. And the house is silent again. That wide, spacious silence that makes the walls feel far away. You wait for it to click back on. You wait. You count this time. You count because you need something to do with your mind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to 15 and it's still silent. You get to 25, 30. At 37, it clicks back on. 37 seconds. You don't know what to do with that number. You don't know why you're holding on to it. But your brain has filed it away, tagged it as important. And now you're lying in the dark with the number 37 sitting in your mind like a stone. The heater kicks on. The vibration returns to the floor. The air begins its slow loop around the room again. You feel the first faint push of warm air against the blanket. Everything is cycling. Everything is running its pattern. Refrigerator on, off, on. Heater on, off, on. The house is a system of overlapping loops, and you're lying at the center of all of them, tracking each one. You notice that the warm air from the vent smells different. Not bad. Not like something burning or something wrong. Just different. There's a mineral quality to it. Faintly metallic. Like the air after it rains on hot pavement, but thinner. You've never noticed this smell before. You're probably just hyper-aware right now. Your senses are heightened because you've been lying in the dark, listening for too long. That's all. You roll onto your back and exhale slowly through your mouth. You think about getting up, going to the kitchen, getting a glass of water, turning on lights, making the house feel normal again. But something keeps you in bed. Not fear. Something quieter than fear. Something like the feeling you get when you're watching an animal in the wild and you don't want to move because you know it will run. As if the house is doing something it only does when you're still. And if you move, you'll never know what it is. So you stay still. The minutes pass. The heater runs. The refrigerator hums. The nightlight glows amber in the hallway. Everything is functioning. Everything is fine. Then the bathroom door moves. Not a lot. An inch. Maybe less. You see it in the hallway through the gap in your bedroom door. The bathroom door, which was halfway open, drifts slightly more open. Slowly. As if pushed by air. And this is possible. This is completely possible. The heater just kicked on. Air pressure in the hallway could shift. Doors in old houses drift sometimes. This is normal. But the door moves toward you. The gap in the hallway gets narrower by a fraction. The amber light shifts on the floor. And then the door stops. And everything is still again. You stare at the new position of the bathroom door. You try to memorize it. You try to fix it in your mind so that if it moves again, you'll know. You look at the angle of the amber light on the hallway carpet and you trace the edge of it like a line on a map. Right there, that's where the light ends. If it changes, you'll see it. You wait. Your heart rate is slightly elevated. You can feel it in your throat. Not pounding, just present. A reminder that your body is taking this more seriously than your mind wants to. 5 minutes pass. The door doesn't move. The light doesn't change. The refrigerator cycles off and back on. You count again, automatically, helplessly. 22 seconds this time. Not 37. 22. A different number. You think about this. 37, then 22. Is there a pattern? Is it decreasing? Will the next one be shorter? You're aware that you're spiraling. You're aware that you're assigning meaning to the random cycling of a kitchen appliance, and that this is exactly the kind of thinking that happens when you lie awake too long in a dark house. You know this, but you're going to count the next one anyway. The heater shuts off. The wind down sequence. Fan slowing, vibration fading. Relay click. You know this sequence. But tonight, there's something extra. After the relay clicks, after the heater is fully off, there's a sound. Very faint. A low, sustained tone. Almost below the threshold of hearing. Like a pipe resonating. Like something deep in the walls vibrating at a frequency that's more felt than heard. It lasts about 4 seconds and then fades. You've never heard that before. You play it back in your mind. The heater shut off. Click. Then the tone. Then silence. Is this new? Or has it always happened and you've just never been awake enough, still enough, attentive enough to hear it? Maybe this has been happening every night for years and you've slept through it. Maybe the house has always made this sound. The only thing that's different tonight is you. That thought is worse somehow. That the house has been doing things on a schedule you never noticed. That there are patterns woven into the nightly life of this building that have been running underneath your awareness like code. The room is cooling again, faster than before. The air against your face has that crisp quality again, and the metallic smell is back, slightly stronger now. You pull the blanket tighter. Your breath makes the smallest cloud. You can just barely see it in the dark. That's not right. It's not cold enough for that. Your thermostat is set to 68. You should not be able to see your breath. But there it is, a faint wisp, gone almost before you see it. You lie completely still and breathe out again, slowly, watching. Nothing. No cloud. Just dark air. You try again. Nothing. It's gone. Maybe it was never there. Maybe it was a trick of the darkness and your eyes and your state of mind. The refrigerator stops. You count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to 11. It clicks back on. 37, 22, 11. Your stomach does something. Not a lurch, more like a tightening. Because that's a pattern. Those numbers are halving. Roughly. Not exactly, but close enough. 37, 22, 11. If it continues, the next silence will be about 5 or 6 seconds, and then 2 or 3. And then it won't turn off at all. Or it will turn off and come back on immediately. Or you stop yourself. You're not doing this. A refrigerator compressor cycles based on temperature inside the unit. That's it. The intervals depend on how often the door was opened, the ambient temperature, the age of the appliance. There is no pattern. You're constructing one because your brain is desperate for order in the middle of a sleepless night. But you're going to count the next one. You lie there. The hum fills the house. You focus on it. You try to notice the exact moment it stops, so you can start counting immediately. You don't want to miss a single second. Time passes. You don't know how much. The hum continues. Steady, unbroken. The heater kicks on again. The vibration returns. The air warms. You feel yourself relaxing slightly. Your shoulders dropping. Your jaw unclenching. The house is a system. The system is running. Everything is mechanical and explainable. Then the click comes again. From the dresser. One click, sharp and clear. And this time, you sit up. You sit up in bed and look at the dresser. Your eyes have been adjusted to the dark for a long time now, and you can see it clearly. The mirror, the lotion, the bowl, the frame, the books. The books are in the right order again. Largest on the bottom, smallest on top. The way you always keep them. You are certain they were reversed earlier. You are completely certain. You stared at them. You thought about them. You noticed the smallest book on the bottom, and it bothered you. And now they're back to normal, and you didn't touch them, and you haven't left this bed. Your mouth is dry. You look at the books for a very long time. You look at them until you're not sure what you're seeing anymore, until the shapes start to swim in the darkness, and you can't tell which is larger and which is smaller, and you think maybe you were wrong before. Maybe they were always in the right order, and you just couldn't see clearly in the dark, and your tired brain filled in the wrong details. This is possible. This is the most likely explanation. You lower yourself back down, slowly. You don't take your eyes off the dresser until your head is on the pillow. Then you stare at the ceiling again. The refrigerator stops. You count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It clicks on at 6. Your whole body goes cold, not temperature cold. Something else. Something that starts in the center of your chest and radiates outward. Because the number is 6. And before that, it was 11. And before that, it was 22. And before that, it was 37. And you know that this is the coincidence. You know that you're pattern matching in the dark. You know that human brains are wired to see patterns everywhere, especially when they're afraid, and you are not going to let yourself believe that your refrigerator is running on a countdown. But the next silence will be about 3 seconds, if the pattern holds. If. You lie there and you wait, and the hum fills the house, and you can't think about anything else. You can't think about sleep. You can't think about tomorrow. You can only think about the moment the hum will stop, and the seconds you'll count before it starts again. The bathroom door moves. You see it in the hallway. It drifts, wider this time, opening. The amber light spills further across the carpet, making the line move toward your bedroom. You watch it happen in slow motion. The door swings open to maybe 3/4. The hallway brightens incrementally. You can see more of the carpet now, more of the wall. And in that extra light, you notice something on the hallway floor that you couldn't see before. A shadow. Not a defined shadow. Not the shape of a person or an object. Just an area on the carpet that's slightly darker than the area around it. Roughly the size of, you don't know, a basketball, a head, a dark oval on the carpet in the hallway outside your bedroom door. It could be a stain. It could be a trick of the light. It could be the way the nightlight hits that particular patch of carpet at that particular angle now that the bathroom door is open wider. There are a dozen explanations. You watch it. It doesn't move. It just sits there on the carpet, darker than its surroundings, perfectly still. The heater shuts off. Wind down. Fan. Vibration. Relay click. And then, the tone. That low, resonant tone from deep in the walls, but longer this time. 6 seconds. 7. 8. It fades slowly, like something breathing out. The dark patch on the carpet is still there. The room cools. The metallic smell returns. Your breath is shallow now, quick and quiet. And you're trying to control it because the sound of your own breathing is interfering with your ability to listen. The refrigerator stops. You count. 1, 2. It clicks on at 3. 3. You don't react. You don't move. You just absorb the number and let it sit next to the others. 37, 22, 11, 6, 3. The next one will be 1 second. Or 0. You don't know what happens at 0. You're watching the dark patch on the carpet. You haven't blinked in a long time. Your eyes sting. You blink. And when your eyes open, the patch is in the same place, but it's closer to your door. Not by much. 2 inches, maybe 3. Or maybe it was always there, and you're misjudging the distance. The angle is difficult from bed. You're looking through an 8-inch gap in your bedroom door at a section of hallway carpet in low amber light. Parallax could account for the difference. Head position on the pillow could account for it. There is no reason to believe the patch has moved. You adjust your head on the pillow to exactly where it was before. You check the patch. You use the edge of the bedroom door frame as a reference point. It's closer. The air in the room is very still. The heater is off. The vent is silent. There's no air movement at all. And in that stillness, you become aware of something you can't identify. A pressure. Not physical, not exactly. More like the sense you get when someone is standing behind you in a checkout line, just a little too close. That awareness of occupied space nearby. You feel it now, faintly, coming from the direction of the hallway. The refrigerator hum is the only sound. You focus on it. You wrap your mind around it and hold on because it's mechanical and it's real and it makes sense. It stops. You count. 1. It clicks on. 1 second. The next one. If there is a next one, should be immediate. No gap. No silence. The hum should stop and start in the same instant. which is no silence at all, which means the pattern completes itself. And then what? You don't know. You have no framework for what comes after. This isn't something you've ever thought about. You're lying in your bed in your house, and you're constructing an apocalyptic theory around the cycling intervals of a kitchen appliance. And you know how that sounds, and you know what a therapist would say, and you know that the rational thing to do is to get up and turn on every light in the house and go stand next to the refrigerator and watch it cycle and prove to yourself that the intervals are random. But you don't get up because the dark patch on the carpet is bigger now. You can see it clearly. It's not a stain. It's not a shadow from the nightlight. It's a darkness that has its own quality, its own density, and it's sitting on the carpet in the hallway about 2 feet from your bedroom door. The nightlight flickers, the amber light stutters, and the hallway goes dark for a full second, and when it comes back, you look at the carpet. The patch is gone. Just carpet, just hallway. The amber light is steady and warm, and there is nothing on the floor. You exhale. Your whole body releases something, tension you didn't know you were holding. You feel it leave your shoulders, your hands, your jaw. There's nothing there. There was never anything there. You're tired and your eyes are playing tricks, and you've been lying in the dark for too long. You roll onto your other side, facing away from the door, facing the window. The blinds are closed, but you can see the faintest suggestion of streetlight through the slats. It's comforting. The world outside exists. Cars are parked on your street. Your neighbors are asleep in their houses. Everything is mundane and real. You close your eyes. The refrigerator stops. You don't want to count. You refuse to count. 1. It doesn't come back on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Silence. 10, 15. Refrigerator stays off. The house is completely silent. No hum, no heater, no wind outside, no cars, nothing. Silence so total, it has weight, has texture, has a shape that presses against your eardrums like water. You keep your eyes closed. You're not going to open your eyes. You are going to lie here with your eyes closed, and you are going to fall asleep. And in the morning, the refrigerator will be humming, and the house will be warm, and the books on the dresser will be in whatever order they're in, and you will not think about this. The click comes from directly behind you, not from the dresser, not from the hallway, from right behind you, from the space between your back and the bedroom door. Close enough that if you extended your arm behind you, your fingers would touch where it came from. You don't move. You don't breathe. The air against the back of your neck changes. It's colder, not like a draft, like a presence, like the air has been displaced by something that's standing very close to your bed, on the side you can't see, in the dark you're facing away from. The metallic smell is strong now, not faint, not subtle. It's the dominant smell in the room, and it's coming from behind you. Your heart is loud. You can hear it in your ears. You can feel it in your wrists, your throat, the backs of your knees. Every pulse point in your body is announcing itself. Something in the room shifts. Not a sound, a reorganization of space, a displacement, as if the room has become smaller by the exact volume of something that's now occupying it. You wait for a touch. You wait for a sound. You wait for something definitive, something you can react to, something that will force you to move. Nothing comes. The seconds pass. The silence holds. The cold air sits against the back of your neck, like a hand that's not quite touching you. And then the refrigerator clicks on. The hum fills the house, steady, normal. The heater kicks in a moment later. The vibration returns to the floor. Warm air begins to move from the vent. The room slowly warms. The cold spot behind you fades. The metallic smell thins and disperses. You lie very still for a long time. 5 minutes. 10. The house runs its systems. The cycles overlap. On, off, on. The sounds are ordinary. The air is ordinary. The temperature is ordinary. Eventually you roll onto your back. The room is empty. The dresser is against the wall. The mirror, the lotion, the bowl, the frame, the books. You look at the books. They're in the right order. You look at the hallway through the gap in your door. The bathroom door is halfway open. The nightlight glows amber. The carpet is clean and bare. Everything is exactly as it should be. You pull the blanket up. You settle in. You close your eyes. You're very tired now, and sleep is close, and the house is warm and humming and alive around you. Just before you drift off, you hear it. The refrigerator stops. You count, automatically, helplessly. 1. It clicks back on, then stops. 1. Clicks on, stops. 1. Clicks on, stops. 1. Over and over. 1 second interval. Perfect. Mechanical. Rhythmic. Like a heartbeat. Like something breathing. Like the house has developed a pulse. And you realize you're not counting anymore. You're listening. And it's not the refrigerator. The sound is coming from inside your room. You keep your eyes closed. The rhythm continues. On, off, on, off. Steady, patient, close. You lie in the dark and listen to a pattern you can't explain. And after a while, you stop trying to explain it. You stop trying to categorize it. You stop trying to decide if you're afraid. You just lie there, and the rhythm continues, and your breathing slows to match it, and the house is warm, and the night is long, and somewhere in the space between wakefulness and sleep, you accept that there is something in your house that follows a pattern, and the pattern has noticed that you're listening, and it doesn't stop, and you don't open your eyes, and the night goes on.